Hi, I'm Anand Jagannathan, founder and CEO of NewzSocial. I have a long relationship with Plug and Play, and this is my second company here. My first company was iStores, which is an online shopping, and I started NewzSocial a couple of years back. We are in the business of social media marketing. It's an emerging space. In fact, was the theme of the latest Plug and Play Expo, and we're really focused on how to enable marketers to run marketing campaigns so they can reach customers and prospects on social media. It's a very technology-oriented company. We have a strong technology background, and this actually is my fifth company, and I've had two successful IPOs before, and a lot of my team here is from one of the companies which had a successful IPO. The typical problem with social media is it evolved through stages. So the first phase of social media was everyone said, I got to have a page, just like a web page, I have to have a page on my social media. Well, that was started off, but that was not enough. Then they said, I got to get more people to follow me. Well, they did that, but then Facebook and LinkedIn said, well, oops, you got to pay to reach those people. So every company is sort of trying to say, okay, how do I go to the next step? We in fact characterized it by actually stating something called a hierarchy of needs, where we start from something called presence, then you go to reach, then you go to engagement, then you go to scale, and you go to final influence. So what makes us very unique is we are sort of the only solution which says, how do you really build broad-based social media marketing where you don't know the audience and the audience doesn't know you, but you're trying to reach them. And you're not doing this by paying for advertising, and you're not doing this by the pages that you own, but really using the power of what we call as social advocates to reach a broad audience. As I had mentioned, this is my fifth company. So my first three companies were all startups. Every company was a startup. The old days, you had in a small office, you were isolated from everyone, you signed up for a lease, and you never knew what was happening. So when I started my fourth company, we found out about Plug and Play. We came here because we were looking for where there was a lot of buzz and activity, there was interaction, you don't feel alone, you see startups going through the same ups and downs and the pains, and so there was almost like a peer group of instead of one company, 150 companies that we could interact with. And to us, that's a big advantage. The other advantage actually for a startup is that you do it on a month-to-month basis. You can scale up, you can scale down, you can add it, and so that gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility. The third is that it's got a nice cafeteria, so it's easy to attract people. It's a central location, access to Caltrain, pretty access from all different parts, and so from a location point of view, it's a good location. So these are all the reasons why we chose Plug and Play. The first thing I would say is, even though you've gone through companies before, every time it's a new one. The problems are new, you learn some new things. I would say that entrepreneurs typically are those which have sort of a very tunnel vision. They believe in something and they keep trying, and and there's no startup that goes smooth. There's always ups and downs. There's always obstacles in your path. But the whole goal of what you try to do is you stay with your vision, and you'll find some break. The other important thing in a startup is you also know you have to realize when it's time to move on to another startup, because sometimes you can stick on too long with something else, and we all have all entrepreneurs are like that. So I would say the two advices is stay focused with your vision in spite of, and you'll see when the light comes up at the end of the tunnel, or decide that it's time and you need to move on, and you learn from your failures. I think the motivation comes purely from, one is, in my case, it's success. I've done it twice before, so I feel, okay, I've seen this before, and I know it's ups and downs. But the real motivation really comes back to this. You got to come back and say, okay, do I really want to go work for another company? Do I really want to join someone else? And you stay motivated and say, you know what, I believe in what I'm doing, and I think I can make that happen. Now, one of the other aspects of motivation is validation. Validation from customers, validation from people who join you and say, okay, I believe in your vision, validation from partners who want to work with you. So you sort of stay motivated, getting some validation. And I think that's what makes a difference between entrepreneurs. Every entrepreneur in the successful ones have gone ups and downs. They've been rejected for funding. They've been through customers, getting hard to get the first set of customers. But once they stay at it, they'll succeed. Yeah, that's a good question. we basically, it's an early space, and we actually have one of the best technologies in this space. The way we want to measure success is, get a first set of pilot customers who all say they change how we do marketing on social media. From there, we want to be able to get to broader industry segments. So at least in 2 or 3 industry segments where they say, oh, if you want to do marketing on social media, you got to choose NewzSocial. Ultimately, it is going to be measured in terms of revenues. We are what is called as a SaaS company. So in terms of SaaS company, the revenues are slower, but it's sustaining. And so the typical benchmark for a SaaS company is when do they first hit the $25,000 a month in revenue, then they hit the 50, then the 100, then the 250, and then the 500. So you have various stages of revenues, and you start measuring success. Each stage you have, but I think the critical mass is that if you're at 100,000 a month, you have sort of gone past the first stage, and then the next phase is getting to $1 million a month in terms of recurring revenues.